Hey guys, good morning. I am currently vlogging without my lights on because no, our electric is not shut off. However, let me cover up. I'm going through this phase right now. I'm 13 weeks pregnant and I'm going through this phase where I am hot and then I'm cold, but I'm mostly cold and it's like, can't even say I'm having hot flashes. I'm having cold flashes unless I'm sleeping kind of thing. It's very weird. Anyways, so what's been going on is I'm not going to do a pregnancy update in this video because I kind of just did. Um, I need some advice because I don't know what to do. And I am trying to do everything that I can in this situation. And some people are going to be like, oh, it's just kids. But look at it at like a whole big picture, right? Okay. So for video purpose and YouTube purposes and the fact that I don't believe in cussing and racial slurs towards the same race, towards each other, like towards opposite races, that whole thing, like it's not me, it's not who I am. So I'm not going to be saying what said, but I'm going to go into a little bit of a story. So about 7 years ago, when we moved into this house, we saw a group of kids running around. Now, look, 7 years, kids grow up, right? Okay. About 7 years ago, there was a group of kids, about 5 of them, the sixth one being in the stroller still, and they would run all over our area. I'm not going to say location, but they would run all over where we're at, like out into the street, baby and stroller, no adult, down by the river, along the riverbed, from like whenever to even past like midnight, or not midnight, but like past dark. And it was kind of concerning because as a parent, like, okay, I'm not the one to call the police on any little thing, but when it comes to kids' safety and how little these kids were, like, if I could guess, I would guess maybe, sorry, this blink, it's like a little throw. I would guess these kids would be about ages 6 months to, at the time, maybe like 7 or 8. Um, no adult supervision, no nothing. So one time I called in the kids, and I'm not gonna throw out race out there because I've just like, I just need advice, right? So I called the police, and I don't think anything was ever really done about it because the woman was like, thought I was racial profiling when she asked me the skin color, and I'm like, no, I just called them by what they would be on like a medical form when they ask for like your skin color. Anyways, and she was like, are you sure there's no adult with them? And I'm like, yeah, there's absolutely no adult with them. And I'm like, keep an eye out my window because it's still an ongoing situation. So fast forward, they were still doing this, right? But I didn't see them up around here. Now I did see them a little bit, but not so often. Then my daughter starts going to school, and she has this kid that is just mean, like a, you tell upbringing, right, or lack thereof, and the siblings, and you could see, like, I deliberately stopped letting my kids walk home from school, even though we live like just a couple of blocks away. I could see them walk home. I deliberately started picking them up in my car, um, just because of like situations that was going on. Parents would like have issues and it was never get reported. My daughter had sand thrown in her eyes. They would like pick on her and be mean on her. And I'm talking about like kindergarten, first grade. So when I say this, like, I could look out my front door and I can see in detail the kids that are walking, like, eye color. Like, we literally don't live far from the school. Okay. So I don't want nobody going like, oh my gosh, you like kids. She also had an older brother, like a lot older brother. Um, Anyways, and they went to the same school. Okay. So, same situation, kids still being mean, yada, yada, yada. One day, see, my daughter has social cues and picking up on things that she has a problem with. Um, Anyways, so like she thinks that if somebody's nice to her, they're her friend type of situation. Okay, so a couple months ago, right around wintertime, like it was right around before we had the big storm, we'd see these kids running around. And then we had the winter storm, and we still seen these kids running around. However, these kids were out for hours, right? And I didn't report it, but my neighbor reported it. And they were going into my neighbor's yards. They were going and like just doing whatever they wanted. They were down there by the river. And I'm talking about like for hours. And I get like, you guys are gonna be like, well, back in my day we did this. Yeah, okay, but here's the thing, right? Because let me get to this point, right? Okay, so let me just get there. Okay. Once again, no adult supervision. My daughter comes home and she tells me, once again, because now like I know who was who, because like I could see some of them and there's more kids and everything. And she was telling me, she was like, these kids, like, she was like, they're not all related, but they say that they're kind of cousins, but I don't know. And she said that they tell teachers and they brag about the other kids that that their parents don't want them at home. They give them a little couple of dollars. And I'm like, even the 3-year-old, this 3-year-old that's with them, right? Gives them a couple of dollars, tells them if you get hungry, go to the corner store, get something to eat, just don't come home. Now, I don't know how true that is because kids do make up stuff, so take it with a grain of salt, but it's added in here because it's a detail. Anyways, so when it started getting warmer out, we were outside, and I'm cool with my kids having people to play with, right? Like I love it. I'm all about sharing. I'm all about like, I'm not gonna be a grouch. I'm not gonna be like, get off my lawn. Okay, like that's not me. It's about to, but just hang tight. So she asked if 2 of the girls could come down and play, and one of them was a little boy that my youngest knew. And I was like, yeah, totally fine. I was like, do their parents know where they're at? And these kids were like, yeah, they know where we are. They're right over there. Come to find out, it wasn't even their parents. Next thing you know, like not even 2 minutes later, there's like 15 kids at my house. No adult supervision besides me and my husband. And I'm like, what is going on? Not even 3 minutes of being here, they're all trying to come in my house. They're all wanting food. They're all wanting drinks. And I'm like, I have a dog in my house. My anxiety was kicking in because like, I'm like, I don't want you in my house because I don't want to be accused of something, because you know how kids can be. And I'm like, I'm not comfortable with that. Like your parents don't know where you are. And I'm not comfortable. So I locked up my house. I told them no. And then they're all on they're all on our trampoline, and my trampoline's right outside my window. And this is where it starts to escalate, right? They're throwing out racial slurs. They're throwing out racial slurs to us. They're being mean to my kids. They're not listening. They're like, I told them, I was like, we all told them there was like only like 3 or 4 at a time, because it's a trampoline. They didn't listen. They were throwing themselves into the net. They broke the net, and we had to get it replaced because I have a kid who is autistic, and safety wise, like all around, like I prefer to have the net, right? Okay. So I had to replace the net, and then they didn't want to go home. And I'm like, ages like 3 to like 10, 11. Well, then they came back like a couple weeks later. I think this had to be in like February when it was a really good day, because I remember I was freshly pregnant. I was still feeling sick, but it wasn't like crazy. I think I was about 6 or 7 weeks along. Okay, so fast forward, now it's March. Couple of days later, maybe a week later, they just randomly started, like, we would zip the trampoline down and lock it. And they would randomly come over whenever they pleased. When we were gone, like I'm being dead serious, they would wait till we'd leave, come over and jump. They would, and it would keep growing. It'd be like 20 to 25 kids, ranging all the way up to high school. But these high school kids are just as bad as the younger kids, right? And they would do this, but I didn't have a camera, okay? And here's how I found out they were doing it, because I was thinking, pregnancy brain, and I have a kid on the spectrum. I'm like, maybe I'm forgetting to tell them to zip it and lock it up, right? But then I can hear my living room where my dog's barking, and I can hear people, but I'm thinking, maybe they're just like, maybe it's like kids on bikes or something, and they're just, playing, and my dog's like, Okay, well then when you start listening to the audio clips, you could hear it was a lot of kids, but I wasn't trying to jump to conclusions. Fast forward, let's see, April's almost over. Fast forward to just a couple weeks ago, right? And my youngest wanted to go on a trampoline. My husband's sitting there with them. Didn't even ask. 20 kids. I'm sitting right here by my window because I'm sick. I have hypermesis gravidaeum. Okay, I was literally diagnosed with it. I'm sitting here by the window with the window open so I can literally hear everything. I'm sitting here and my husband's outside and these kids just come down and they start jumping on the trampoline. They're throwing out like racial slurs. They're telling my husband that he can't tell them what to do. Like, good luck finding our parents because they ain't gonna do nothing about it. They'll beat us up. They'll like do all this stuff, yada yada yada. They don't want them home, blah 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 blah. And then my youngest is telling them to stop cussing, and because he's like, my mom don't like it, my dad don't like it, you can't act like that. And they're like, well, we can do whatever we want. And my husband Daniel was like, no, you guys gotta go home. Like, enough. Y'all gotta go. Okay. Okay. Took them 20 minutes and they finally left. The very next day, like, this is every single day, right? The very next day, these kids, we're here at home. We're making snow cones, like little like ices, and I remember this because I was trying to figure out how to work it. So I'm sitting there making them, and there's 8 to 15 kids just jumping on the trampoline. No adult supervision, no asking, no nothing. So Daniel goes out there and he tells them, you cannot be here. You're trespassing. You had no permission, and we're not going to be responsible for you. You need to go home. They didn't leave. So he goes back out there and tells them again. They still didn't leave. So he goes back out there again and he told them, he's like, I'm going to call the police if you don't get off. So they take off running. Okay. The very next day, we're sitting inside as we were told it was going to rain. We're sitting inside. The kids are playing For the King or Of the King, or I don't know. It's like a Steam Deck game or something. The kids love playing it with Daniel. Anyways, they're playing that. And then we just start hearing kids playing on the trampoline. So at this point, we didn't even say nothing. We called the police. The police show up. Oh, it's just a man running on the floor. So the police show up. The kids tell the police that they had permission to be here, and then they said they didn't know that they couldn't be here. And they asked the police officer if they would, because the police officer told them everything, right? Like everything that we said. They said, well, if we stop cussing and throwing racial slurs, can we still come down here? And the police officer said, no, that's not what we want, and that they need to go home. And he told him, he was like, don't come back unless she tells you to come back. He was like, give it a couple of days. If she invites you over, come over. The very next day, they're back here at my house. And then the next day. And then yesterday, okay, check this out. Because I have cameras, right? Like, I bought cameras, okay? So in this whole entire time, they just keep coming to our house. And you guys are going to be like, well, it sounds like it was only a week. No, literally, like, it's been this ongoing thing. It's just repetitive because I don't want to be like, this day, like, because I'd be telling you, like, almost a month. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like a month, almost 2 months with such issues. So, Friday, we go and we got another vehicle because the family's expanding. I have my grandmother with me on the weekends. I like to have extra space in case I have to take the dog with me. I want, space in my trunk to put stuff like a stroller, groceries, all the things, because the SUV I have now is just too small. So I get this vehicle, right? And I'm driving around our new car yesterday and nobody came over. My original car is still sitting in my driveway. Well, the new car that we got started acting up. Come to find out, like, they didn't put coolant in it when they sold us the vehicle, and oil. Anyways, like, it's just, that's a whole nother situation. So that was getting towed. I get my husband's car, I come back. We are sitting here at my house. I have to leave. I leave at like 5:24, 5:25, something like that, in my car to go pick up my husband from work. Because mind you, he came down to where I was at, gave me his car, and I drove him back with the kids, right? Okay, I leave. My phone starts going off, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's my dog walking around my house, you know. It's my dog, right? Like, we have cameras all over my house, inside. So my husband calls me while I'm sitting outside his job, and he goes, hey, there's kids on the trampoline. Call the police. All right, I call the police. I'm telling them everything that's going on. The police come out here. They're trampoline. Like, I have footages, okay? The footage shows that one little kid comes over to our door to the other side of our house and starts knocking on everything, interrogating our dog. The one little girl says, don't worry about knocking, just get up here. And then, like, you see them running down to our yard. And they said that they're gone so we could do whatever we want. And like, I think there's like 8 to 15 kids that, like, they just kept accumulating. And they're all on the trampoline. They're cussing and carrying on. They're throwing racial slurs. They're slamming each other down. They're slamming each other around. The police show up. They take off running. The police said, there's nothing we can do. Because I requested that these kids get put in their vehicle and get their names and take them to their home and let their parents know what's been going on. And they were like, yeah, we can see what we could do. Well, kids don't ever want to give their names. They don't give their full names. They don't give their, like, I get it, but at the same time, like, come on. So then we were like, can you take them down to the station? You know? And somebody's got to speak. Like, something's got to go on. Okay, so, mind you, like, I wasn't even gone. I wasn't even, like, 2-3 blocks away, and my cameras were picking up stuff. Like I said, I thought it was my dog. Great. So we're showing the police the footages and everything, and they said, well, do you have an address for these kids? And I'm like, no, I don't. They were like, well, do you know their parents' names? And I'm like, no, I don't. They were like, well, do you have a last name? I'm like, no, I don't, because I don't know who these kids are. I know some of them by first name, and then they have siblings. That's all I know. And they were like, well, there's nothing we can do. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? So yesterday, after these kids leave, and I have all of it on surveillance, I posted the video clips to Facebook in the community and on my page because I'm friends with a lot of people in this area. Like, I grew up in this area, like, you know what I'm saying? So I just posted, I was like, look, I was like, I am not trying to fight nobody's parents. I'm not on the drama. Like, I'm not trying to start no drama. I just want to let you know where your kids are. Like, I'm fearing for their safety because they're down here by the river. I'm talking about, like, a main river that's super deep, takes kids in, like, a matter of split second. And I'm, like, posting them. I'm like, this is how they're acting. This is what they're doing. They're throwing racial slurs at us. They're threatening us. They're, like, you know, doing all these things. And, like, all this, right? Nobody has identified these kids yet. People have stated that they see them all around here and that they are bad. And that everybody is, like, super shocked. Not like, shocked in the sense of, like, oh my gosh, how could that be? But just, like, shocked at the fact that what's been going on. Because you see somebody that you know go through something, you're like, oh, you know, like, you kind of gasp and you're like, oh my gosh, like, you know, and then, like, try taking it down to the police station, go above the police that come out, take it down, speak to a sergeant, speak to somebody in charge at the police station, CPS, put up no trespassing signs, put up a fence, you know, do all these things. And I'm going to tell you, so we know our property line, right? And I'm not making excuses. I'm genuinely, like, I'm telling you what's up. We know our property line. This house has been in my family because my great-grandparents built this house in the 80s. Okay? I know the property line. However, I have to get somebody to come out and mark it where the city lines are for the drainage, so that way I can put the fence right on the side of where it needs to be. So even though we own property over those drainage lines, we can't put a fence over top of the drainage lines in case the city needs to come out and do that. I don't know where the city updated the drainage lines and which, like, if they zigzag, if they go straight. I don't know. So I have to have someone come out and do that. That's like $2-3 grand to have somebody do that. Like, it's absolutely crazy. And still can't get nobody to do that. And then to put up a fence that is required for the situation at hand and the fence that we need, we're looking at $5 grand minimum. That's like $8 grand right there. Okay, it's expensive. We don't have it. I've got an add-on that's being added on because we needed this add-on. We've been wanting this add-on added. And we took that money that was supposed to be to the fence to do that because then we was going to put up a fence next year. I can't get anywhere with a sergeant at the police station. I hate even reporting to CPS. But if that's what I got to do, I got to do. I've called the school. Come to find out, people at the school know exactly who these, because, they go to school. They know exactly who these kids are. They see them running around. I've even asked, I'm like, look, I don't want addresses because I know you're not going to give it to me. I don't want last names because I know you're not going to give it to me. I don't want my kids putting themselves in a situation of saying who they are because I don't want them being targeted for, like, situations. So I asked for the school resource officer, who is an actual, I think he's a sheriff. Like, I'm pretty sure he's a sheriff and he just works at the school. I'm not saying just, but he works at the school. Anyways, I've called. I have not heard anything back, so I think I'm going to go down first thing tomorrow morning and be like, I need to speak to the officer. Like, I can't report these addresses, but you working at the school, can you please call their parents and tell them who they are? Because, and like, what they're doing, because something's got to give. I cannot be responsible for children that are not my children, that do not have permission here. They have no respect. Their mouth is just vulgar. Their ability to respect authority, I'm not even asking for, like, total respect. I'm just asking for communication that's not degrading. And understanding. And just simple respect. And we're not getting any. And I know because it's an outside issue of the school, like, the school can't do anything, but there's an officer there that knows these kids, and I'm just like, can you please? Like, I'm scared to death. Like, yes, I am mad about, I'm mad, but I'm not mad like the character off Inside Out mad. Like, okay, I'm not mad like that. I have anxiety because I should not have to take down the trampoline that is in my yard to deteriorate these kids, because even if I get rid of the trampoline, they still try to do other stuff here at my house, right? Like, regardless. But I should not have to take down the trampoline that helps self-regulate 2 of my kids and take down their fun that they like to do. And I shouldn't have to punish my household. Like, when I have a kid that's stimming, the trampoline is what helps him co-regulate. I can't have him outside without these group of kids coming and making the situation worse. So it's like, what do you do? And I fear for them because they're running all over where we're at. They're all around the streets. They're down along the flood wall. They're like, oh, this whole entire thing, right? And I'm scared for their safety because I don't want something to happen to them. But I'm scared that something's going to happen to them because I have told them that they've had to leave, and they go right in my neighbor's yard, over jump the fence, and try to do stuff there. And I'm like, no, you can't be there either. So they, like, open up his gate where his cars come, his cars come through, and they just open it and they just go on out. So what's a fence gonna do, right? And the police are like, just keep recording them, just do what you gotta do. But no, like, these kids, something's gotta give, because if their parents don't want them home, and don't want any responsibility to these kids or to own up, like, like something's got to give, because I'm terrified. I'm terrified they're going to get hit. I'm terrified they're going to get kidnapped. I'm terrified they go to the wrong person's house, they're going to get shot, because what do you do when you have kids? Like last night, after the police were called and we were sitting here, a group of kids, like I have it on video, at almost 9 o'clock at night, it was like 8:50, 8:51ish, just came down and came to our door and was like, after that whole situation, was like, can we jump on the trampoline all night? Everybody that was here, and we're like, no, you cannot. Like, it's late, it's dark outside, and y'all need to go. Like, y'all need to go home. Well, can we come over tomorrow? You guys don't have to be here. And we're like, no. And they're like, well, we know you're not going to be here because it's Sunday and you guys aren't really here all day. Shows you they watch your house. So we're like, no, you cannot be here because we're not going to be responsible if somebody gets hurt. Like, you guys cannot be here. You all need to be home with your adults. And they were like, well, what if you're not here? Can we come over? And we're like, no, you need to go home. And I'm pretty sure my front door camera caught it, because I'm pretty sure Daniel's got it saved on his phone. But then, like, they just come to the backyard, and then they just go right up the back and over, and I'm like, like, we didn't get a pool. Me and Daniel was talking about this, like, we don't have a pool. Like, even the little, like, blow-up pool, we're taking it down because I don't want to be responsible for something happening to these kids. I don't know anything about these kids other than, like, first name. And that's not all the kids. And I'm genuinely, like, I'm afraid that they're going to retaliate against my kids. It's going to start causing these issues. You know, their parents are going to try to do something to us. Like, it's going to open up this big thing. But at the same time, like, as homeowners and just in general, you cannot be responsible for other people's kids, and they cannot be treating and disrespecting your property and who you are, and not even simply following simple guidelines. They don't care. And I know this is a long video, but I need to know, what do I do? Because when I was looking at, like, the guidelines for CPS, because I was told to report to CPS by, like, a big authority figure that is involved in the system, it doesn't meet criteria. Like, they're not physically abused. There was no witness of them being beaten. Because I don't have evidence of them being locked outside their home late at night, even though I have cameras of them running around in the dark in my yard. It's not abuse, right? So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't know if I should start having, like, other people in my family, when they come by, to start reporting it. I've got people that are like, I'll stay in your driveway, because, like, I do have people that, like, kind of stay here that are family. Like, if they're traveling through or whatever, or, you know, they live far out and they have to be at work early in the morning, like, they'll come pull in late after getting off a shift, stay, and then go to work. Like, I don't have an issue with it. And they get off, like, after we're in bed. So it's like, situation given, you know, whatever. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know what to do. The neighbors are fed up with it. It's just like, I'm going back to this. There's a thing where kids can be kids, and kids can be without an adult in certain situations, when, especially when there's a multiple together, and say, like, they live, like, 3 or 4 blocks away from, like, one relative to another relative, or, like, their friend to their friend. But it's like, you can see them and they're all together, and there's communication from the other adults or whatever back to the parent that, like, sent them over. You know, like, there's communication there. That's okay to me. But when there's no communication, you like don't want to inform your parent. You don't want to inform nobody. You're basically like giving everybody the bird and throwing racial slurs and everything. It's like, no, this is not okay. Now I have witnessed other situations where my daughter will be on the phone with one of her friends, and like you can hear a ruckus going on in the background, and these kids will just like walk up in this girl's parents' house. I'm gonna say parent because I don't want to give like too much information away. But walk up in this parent's house with no asking, no nothing, and then they just start doing whatever they want, and the child on the other end of the phone starts to get anxious and worried, and because what are they doing there, and they start going through everything, and my daughter's like, okay, just stay on the phone with me, and so like I can hear what's going on if I have to, do something, because you never know, like when there's that many kids and they walk up in another kid's house, especially what they do here, like they'll hold each other down and beat each other up, like kicking and punching each other in the face. I'm like, oh, you didn't know it's gonna bother you. Drives me insane. Anyways, so like they just do whatever they want, and then the parent, like the child has the parent there, and they're like in the backyard grabbing something, like takes like a minute or two, and you can like literally hear, and they're like, get out of my home. You didn't even ask. And then they're like, well, we can do whatever we want, blah, blah, blah. So we're not the only ones, okay? But I'm talking about like they go and I don't know what to do. I need help. If anybody has an advice, I'm really not trying to pursue legal actions. I am just trying to find these kids as parents, and I need it to stop. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So somebody can let me know in the comments, reach out by email, something. Would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, I'm not putting the kids on this part of the internet because this is like literally anybody and everybody as to on my personal page. It's like the remote area of the community and the people here. So if somebody can figure it out, let me know. I need advice. We're putting up no trespassing signs. They will be here in about an hour or two. I'm losing sleep over this whole thing because I'm terrified. Like, first of all, I'm pregnant. I should not be stressing and terrified. But I'm stressing and terrified over the safety of my kids at school, over the safety of these kids, over like something that'll happen when we're here. Coming home and like finding something like retaliated and they go after my dog who's in the house. And then I have to like put my dog down. Like I don't need extra things added. And then like I have a project going on being added to my house, and I'm like, I don't want them getting hurt because it's literally in the process of being built, and I'm just like, what do I do? I'm stressing. So like I said, I'm currently sitting here with my lights off. It looks like I'm not home. Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to come down. So, yeah. But this is like an ongoing situation. I've said things in order, left out a couple of things because it's repetitive. Like when this has been going on for a little over a month, and it's getting like at first it was only when my kids were out, and then I didn't have cameras, so I'm like can't really pinpoint, but then like you start realizing there's a pattern, and it was going from like every 3 days to every, because I mean, like if I have to run in the house and I'm about to get sick to my stomach, we're all going in the house, right? Just this whole thing. So I just thought I was going crazy, and then I we're home and we see them doing it. Our neighbors see them doing it, and then they're doing it while we're not here, which they were probably doing it when we weren't here because maybe think I was going crazy. But now it's just starting to become more frequent and frequent and frequent, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Alright, I will see you guys in another video. Please let me know what to do, and I'll reply in the comments for like the first hour to recovering from being sick. My meds are starting to wear off. I'm going to take another dosage of them. So I'm up off here. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.